G'day guys, just got our hands on one of these new machines, and just going through everything on it and checking, making sure I'm happy with everything. There's one thing I'm in particular not happy about, and that's the what you would call the reverse Bowden tube from the head back down to where you feed your cable. In particular, this one goes into a little filament runout sensor. But what I am seeing is a fair few of these are stripping gears. I know they're plastic gears in the extruder, but you would imagine that Creality did lots and lots of testing, and they didn't have a problem, otherwise they wouldn't have released these heads like this. And these gears come in other machines as well. You probably just see a peek of it in the side there. So it looks like it's metal where the filament actually runs through, but the gears themselves are a nylon or some other material, and they're snapping. And you would imagine this is under, like extremes, when there's a lot of retractions back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and it's stripping the teeth off these things. I'm sort of wondering, if it was a free-flowing system into there, why wouldn't the teeth, as long as they were lubed and they weren't meshed too hard, why wouldn't they just work? And the one thing I keep coming back to is that when I feed my filament into this reverse Bowden tube here, it's really fucking tight. Like, that is really tight. Look at it pulling on the Bowden tube. It's pulling up. Look at that. That's just me trying to pull my filament back out of this Bowden tube, and that's because it actually is a Bowden tube. It's designed to keep the filament really tight, so you get good retractions on a Bowden setup. This isn't a Bowden setup. This is a direct drive at the hot end. So what you want is a really free flowing. That's really fucking tight in there, to the point where it's actually really annoying. Getting this out of here and then you got to go through the filament runout center, and these things are never as smooth and as clean as you'd want them to run through. But you add all that extra stress onto that, and that poor little tiny motor, a tiny little stepper motor has to yank this from that, the weight of that, up through here, all the way along. And that is really fucking tight. So what I think is I'm going to ditch that, because that's regular tight Bowden tube size there. Can I focus on it? Come on, focus. There it is. Have a look at that. That's regular size. That's, and if you're running cheaper filament like we all tend to do, you're going to clog up in that. There's Bamboo Labs. Fucking focus. Seriously. There it is. That's what you want. You want that. That's going to give the freest flowing run of filament from down there all the way up through there, all the way along, all the way down and into the top of the extruder. I mean, alternatively, you could just run an A-frame up over the top and have your filament feed straight down into the head from up top, but I probably won't do that because I want to run an enclosure on this at some stage. But I'm just thinking, like that is just way too tight, Creality. We don't want Bowden tube up here. We just want a tube to carry the filament from there to there, and we want it to be as loose and as free as possible. So I'm probably going to grab a whole heap of this grey shit and run the bamboo grey shit. Nice big hole there, super loose, super smooth, and give it the most easy run it can from there up to the extruder. Great machines. First couple of prints on it have been fantastic. No dramas, no VFA dramas like on the K1Max. Loving the dual lead screws. I think that's a fantastic idea. Everything about it so far. Love the big chunky rods up the top here. Not in love with the MGN9. I think they could have gone MGN12 up top when it comes to this. MGN9, of course, it'll do the job, but why not go MGN12 on such a big heavy duty machine? That would have been good. Apart from the drama that everyone knows right now with the extruder gears stripping, this could be a fix. This could be a fix for it, who knows. The big fat belts, loving the big fat belts. Are they gates? You would say gates, probably not. Be nice if it was. The thick bed, it's got a nice half decent thick piece of, better than anything else I've seen from these guys before. So yeah, look, everything I like. I love the frame, little indicator light, screen's nice. Everything about this machine for its price just is really good. I'm really impressed so far. Easy to build. One thread on the whole machine was a bit dicky, but I got past that with a slightly longer bolt. I think it was over this one here, slightly threaded. So when I screwed up from underneath here, it just kept spinning. So I just ran a slightly longer bolt, and there must have been a bit more thread further up in this section here, and it bit and did up. So I was happy there. Typical Creality sort of stuff. I don't know if I'm sold on the big gears. I've gone back to the big pulley gears, but we'll see how they work out. I think that's what introduced the VFAs back into the K1 Max. But other than that, so far so good. Overhangs seem to be good, so it's getting some pretty decent cooling going in there. Plenty of reviews online about them. But I really think that's something you've got to look out for, guys. There's no need for a full-on Bowden tube on that. The extruder's up here, not over here. So, it hasn't got a massive motor on it like the old extruders used to have. They could just push and pull these back and forth all day. So that's coming off, and this will be going on. That's it, guys. Good luck with your Ender5Maxes, eh?